Hey everybody, how's it going? So, I got this Alamo Industrial 48-inch flail axe, and I've been told it's got a bent shaft in it. So we're going to change the shaft out, and I was also told we got a seized bearing as well, and we're going to change the bearing too. So, this goes on our brush cutter. It's supposed to be able to mulch up bigger material. I think it'll cut like up to a 3 or 4 inch piece of wood. The brush cutter itself, like the big mower head, that's more for smaller stuff and like grass and little twigs and things. I mean, nothing too substantial. You can obviously chop some stuff up with it because it's a gigantic mower blade, but this is for the bigger stuff. So we got to obviously get that shaft out of there, and I think it's belt driven inside underneath this shield here. Yeah, obviously bearing on each side, little hydraulic motor. One-off hydraulics. So you got a pressure return and a case drain hose, and you got a couple of smaller hoses that actuate this little cylinder here that kind of opens and closes the door on the front, so you can get better access, so you get right up to something. So if you want to cut something bigger, so you open up that door and then get right up to it, you can kind of chew through a bigger piece of wood. So these are kind of the bearings on the end. I'm not sure which one is damaged. Those bearings are incredibly expensive, along with the shaft. The shaft, I think I found a cheaper shaft. The dealer wanted like $5,700 to $6,200 depending on the type of shaft it is. So I think you have a fine cut and a coarse cut. This is the one that I ended up getting. Obviously these are the flail axes, that little teeth that you replaceable. This is the bearing I ended up getting. This was $3,100, and this I'm not exactly sure. I think it was $500 to $800. I came to $4,100 total, or $4,007 total for the cutter shaft, a bearing, and whatever type of shipping to get it up here, if you were paying shipping. So I think this is the other style. It's a fine cutter shaft. Not exactly sure, but they told me there was two different ones. I'm not sure what the difference was between them because I couldn't understand the guy on the phone, but that's the one we got. So, yeah, pretty self-explanatory. Just gonna be a struggle getting it out of there. I think it's going to be pretty heavy, and apparently we don't have bolts holding this in anymore. I mean, you got two there. I don't know if they're just for show or if they're actually functional, but somebody got the booger blaster out and they kind of applied a bunch of caterpillars everywhere. So we'll have to cut all those off because, I mean, why put a little tab on there and thread a hole when you can just weld the crap out of it? I'm sure it'll never have to come apart though. So anyway, so if I pull these two bolts out, see if they're actually doing anything, and then I'll start cutting these welds. And yeah, I'll probably make some little pieces of stock or a flat bar and weld them in there and kind of drill and tap it, put an actual bolt back in there, and see where it goes. So I ordered a puller. The puller was the wrong size, so I was actually able to put the bolts in here and just kind of push off the pulley with just the bolts going through. And I'm just gonna pry this I don't know, compression section, whatever it is, off, and then I'll have that off. There's that. So fast forward about 3 weeks, and we got ourselves a new cutter shaft and a new bearing. So if you're wondering what that bearing is, here's the part number for the bearing. And it looked like online it was like $860 to buy just the bearing without the mount. So expensive. Let's kind of wrestle this shaft and get it back in there. So I'm just using some of them, cam buckle tie downs to kind of support the shaft so it's in the middle. Make it a little bit easier to get the bearing on. I put some Nevises on the shaft to try to keep the bearing from seizing on like the last one. So these come basically. You have this inside section of this pulley. It's cut down the middle and it's got a taper on it, so it's like a cone. And this outside of the pulley also has a cone that goes the other way. So as you tighten these bolts up, it actually pulls this pulley towards the center section, and it squeezes the center section tight onto the shaft, because it just wedges in there and gets tighter like that. These are fully tapped or fully threaded bolts. So it looks like they probably broke one or something like that, and then they stuck one of these in there. So the threads are right at the edge of this pulley. So this actually started to contact the edge of the pulley and damage some of the threads. So see if it'll go back in there. But if you are in the situation where you need a bolt like this and you have a bolt like this, put this bolt in a vise and run a tap down it, and you will just thread this bolt. This is a grade 8 bolt. I've threaded grade 8 bolts just putting a tap on there and just tapping it. So even though it's hardened, you can still add threads to them. So in case you're in a situation like that, it can be done. See, just ran a tap down it, put some threads on there. There is that little bump there where they cut the relief for the end of the threads, but it'll work fine. Only took a minute too. So I don't have anything that tells me how tight to put this, so I basically just got a general torque. I believe the torque is 23 foot-pounds for a 3/8 grade 5 bolt, which is what these are, so I'm just torquing them all the same torque. So I had a set screw that was jammed in there. It looked like they broke off the Allen key or the bit or something inside there, and I couldn't get it out. So I had another ring that I took off the broken one, but I had to get this off. So I took the cut-off wheel and I just kept kind of cutting into it. I tried to make a T I could get a screwdriver into and turn it, but it was seized in there pretty good, so I had to kind of cut on either side of the set screw to remove the material down, so it was just kind of a little bit, and then I could get the screwdriver in there and remove it So obviously if you don't have another ring or anything, then you'll be out the ring when you cut it. But if you do, there'd be a way to remove it. Nah, it's all kind of jammed in there, but you can see. Alright, so I got these all bolted up, and I mean, basically it's pretty simple. I mean, the only problems I really had was getting that bearing off. It was seized on there pretty good, and it just did not want to come off, so ultimately we had to cut it off. But so that's that. All that's left to do is put it on. It's now I just gotta figure out what I'm gonna get this out with. Probably forks on the loader or something. But anyway, that's about how you change that. The reason I did it the way I did it was because a lot of fluid will leak out of the boom of that thing when I'm taking the hose off, so I tried to get them close to hook them up quick, and you can't really run it with the hoses not hooked up because it leaks a lot. So anyway, hope that can help somebody. Thanks for watching. It's almost like a barber pole. Maybe we could put like some hot dogs or like cured meats or something on there.